Morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. I am joined by Mason Morash from American Life, and we have some fantastic information to share with you all today that I'm super excited to get to. Going to go over some of the updates on their product suite as well as their partial Roth conversion strategy there. Before we get into all that, we do have a few items that we're going to talk about as to why agents love working with us over here at IMES. If at any time throughout the presentation you have a question, go ahead and pop it in that questions box. You don't have to wait till the end, but we'll be sure to get all of those answered for you. We will also have 3 poll questions here for you today, and we'd love your participation on those. So be sure to respond to those polls when we get them launched. When you call over to us at 800-255-5055, remember you're always going to get a live person and never have to deal with a dial by name directory. And that's just how we kick off our best-in-class customer service, by answering the phone with somebody, and maybe it's not the person that you're calling in for, but if not, they are going to get you transferred right over to who it is you're looking for. So getting right into it, a few reasons why agents love working with us at IMES, starting off with our new Producer Builders program. This is for those of you who are new to IMES. These bonuses are available based on your production level in your first 180 days of contracting with us. We have different levels that you can qualify for, and as you can see inside each level are some really great options for you. We've got incredible business building tools, personal perks for you, and even cash rewards. If you would like to know where you stand towards your new producer builder, or if you would like to have a conversation about how to achieve the next level, please just give us a call over here. Another business builders program that we provide for our agents is our referred producer program. I see a couple advisors on with us today that have already taken advantage of this program. So our business on the wholesale side of the industry is similar to yours in the field, in that one of the best leads we can ever obtain is a referral from one of our valued producers. This is why we want to make it worth your while to refer a producer to us. When you refer a producer and they get contracted, we're going to cut you a $50 thank you check. But where the real money comes in is as your referral writes business, you're going to receive an override on all of that business. Our ownership team, Charles, Steve, Curtis, and Chris, sign checks for thousands of dollars every quarter. So if you can think of anyone that could benefit from doing business with our team, please type their information into that questions box, or you can certainly email us with their information, and we'll be sure to reach out to help them get started. Below the referred producer program is our marketing reimbursement program, which is the most popular program we offer here at IMES. For every $100,000 in FIA premium that you do with us, you're going to get $100 in your marketing reimbursement account. And why this is so popular and lucrative for our advisors is that we truly do consider this to be your money. You have the flexibility on how you use these funds, and if you're marketing it is your marketing reimbursement, excuse me, and we don't tell the vendors that you have to use, but we do recommend some vendors that we partner with and leverage reduced rates and preferred service. We also have our creative team here to create a marketing strategy and provide in-house services. So if you'd like to know how much is in your marketing reimbursement account or have a conversation about how to utilize that, just give your sales director a call here at our office, and we'd love to speak with you about that. Next, I want to talk about our back office support. This is another way that we add value to your business here, and it's a core of how IMES was founded by Charles Hiring years ago. We want to help the independent advisor work smarter, not harder, and we are going to do that with our great business building tools and resources, and of course, our advanced case designed assistance. With life and annuity quotes, we're going to get you those illustrations that you can request within 24 hours, and really you're going to receive it much quicker, usually within the hour. Submission to commission support is handled by our new business teams. Mackenzie heads up the annuity team, and Michelle is on the life side. They have fantastic teams who work tirelessly every day to help you get that commission quicker. We're going to scrub applications for you, submit them on your behalf, and do the administrative tracking to get you updates on those cases as needed. We do this to ensure that you do get commissioned as quickly as possible. This is a service that we provide to all of our valued producers, and it's a way that we help you grow your business by keeping you in front of clients while our team handles that back office support for you. Our IMS website is a great tool for our producers to use and another reason to work with us over here at IMS. Once you've contracted with us, you're going to have full access to everything you see on this slide and a whole lot more. If you haven't registered for our website, it's very simple to do so. When we're done with this call, go ahead and create an account and we'd love to see you on there. There are a lot of great resources that are available to you, including illustration tools, online forums, product grids, and news. Industry updates are also out there for you. Next, as I'm sure we're all aware, is that technology is definitely where this industry is going, and Luma is our newest partnership to streamline the application process. Most of our carriers are now on our Luma Firelight e-platform, so you can go onto one site to submit business. Some carriers are going to e-app only for some of their product lines and will also offer extra comp for utilizing the e-app platform. So make sure you ask your sales director before you submit a paper app, because you can earn extra money by just completing and submitting through the e-app portal there. I know earlier I mentioned our in-house creative team. So we do have a full in-house creative services team there, and we have turnkey items available out there for you. Many of our sales resources are white labeled, so we can simply impose your contact information and your business logos onto it. And speaking of logos, if you haven't created a full customized brand for your agency, you can certainly utilize our team here to help you with that through our agency solution program. Name recognition grows your natural market organically, and digital marketing solutions are a very popular topic here at IMS. We can help you with websites, social media marketing, email marketing, and much more. The internet and social media sites are where the overwhelming majority of prospects go to for information. So making sure you're accessible and represented in those marketing lanes is very beneficial to growing your business. If you reach out to me when this webinar concludes to talk about how you can access the IMS creative team, I would love to have a conversation with you and get that ball rolling for you. We also offer complimentary marketing analyses for agents looking to explore new sales ideas and programs. Whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned producer, this free assessment can help you boost your business with insights on your website, digital presence, branding, and your current marketing activities, as well as recommendations on trusted vendors for everything from lead generation to seminars and social content. Definitely reach out to your sales director to get started with that today if you haven't already. Next up, I'm going to chat a little bit about our IMS Wealth Management team. So this is our sister company that's an RIA. There's really two different divisions of this. For those of you that have your Series 65, you can utilize IMS Wealth Management for your assets under management business there. But for those of you that don't want to get your securities license, or maybe you just never had the desire to, or maybe you're kind of coming down to the end of your career and don't want to go through all that effort to get your 65, then you can utilize our Client Direct program, where you can refer clients over to our wealth management team to assist with the securities portion of the sale while you handle the insurance and financial services side. The way we kind of position this is basically if you go into a home and you're looking to do an annuity sale, they've got about $500,000, but maybe only $300,000 is really suitable for an annuity. If you aren't doing anything with that other $200,000, then you're leaving the door open for another advisor to come in and potentially steal that client from you. So we wanted to have a solution for you with our wealth management team there. We actually had one advisor that was working with our team while he was studying for his Series 65. By the time he passed his exam, he had about 8 million in assets under management there. And once he got his 65 there, he had all of that transferred over to him from our team. So we wanted to have this solution for you on all sides of the business so that you can best serve your clients. I'm going to start a poll here. If you are interested in learning more about our, let's see here. Okay, actually, guess we don't have a poll for that. We will go ahead and move on. But if you are interested in getting some more information on IMS Wealth Management, go ahead and put your information in that questions box. We'd certainly be happy to get you set up with our team. Next up, I want to chat about our life and annuity academies. We usually do about 4 or 5 of these a year at our home office here in Omaha. We had our last one towards the beginning of October there. We'll probably start back up with these in the spring, just because nobody really wants to travel to Nebraska in the winter when it's getting cold. But something about these academies, it's not going to be life insurance 101. It's not annuities 101. So if you're brand new to the industry, this may not be for you, but it covers a lot of topics, including sales strategies from some of our top producers that they've found to be successful, marketing strategies with some of our best vendor partners that we've leveraged long-term relationships with, as well as presentations from a couple of our carrier partners on their products and services and everything they have to offer. Really what I believe the biggest value add though from these life and annuity academies is we bring out about 30 to 35 agents, and it's a 2-day workshop, and basically for 2 days you kind of get to network and rub elbows with other producers and learn what it is that they're doing to be successful in their business, and kind of just spitball ideas off of other producers there. So this is a great opportunity. And then from here, I am going to go ahead and pass it off to Mason with American Life, and he's going to talk to you about some of their product updates and some other things they have going on, as well as Roth conversions. Mason, it is all you.
Appreciate you spending some time, taking some time away for your busy days to sharpen the axe a little bit, so to speak. Wanted to touch on a couple things that Isaiah shared. I actually came from the IMO space. I worked in that world, and one of the biggest things I saw as a contributor to business growth was those referrals. And the program they've put together at IAMS really stands out as a fantastic referral program. Not only can you share with your friends and colleagues all the wonderful benefits that IAMS has to offer, but you can put a significant amount of extra money in your own pocket in doing so. So it's a fantastic program. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Like Isaiah mentioned, I'm going to talk a little bit about some product updates, what's going on with American Life, and then a little bit about Roth conversions and what we allow and that sort of thing. So to jump straight in, if you're not familiar with American Life already, we have 4 strong product lines. We are 100% accumulation focused still, always looking to expand, but today we're all about the accumulation. And to serve that, we've built some really strong policies. I'm going to give you just a quick overview on each real quick, so you can kind of see where they are competitive and where you can find use for them. We have our standard MYGA. We have our combination fusion product. That is a MYGA or MYGA, a combination of indexed and MYGA. And we, of course, we have our American Select in both a 7 and 10-year term. And then our policy, our newest policy, is our Max Growth, that is really accumulation focused. Accumulation focused even beyond what our other policies offer. So one step more in that direction. MYGA, American Classic, we have the 3-year and the 5-year, 5.2% guaranteed if the client, on the 3-year, for example, if the client does not take any withdrawals other than RMDs, they do get a back-end bonus at the end of the term that brings the rate up on average to 5.36% instead of the 5.2. I think that's a fantastic feature. We're, as far as I know, the only one company out there doing it, where the client has the ability in this policy to take up to 10% free withdrawals after year 1, but if they elect not to, they're going to get rewarded for that with an overall higher return. So that is a fantastic thing to point out there. We're competitive on those rates. In addition to that, our minimum is only $1,000 on this policy. That's pretty unique and pretty rare. Most companies have a higher minimum than that. So that stands out. And the other thing I always want to make sure I point out, and Isaiah already mentioned this, we do pay a little bit extra commission for e-apps, right, compared to the paper apps. So that's something you guys can take advantage of. If you're not doing e-apps already, take a look at to help out the bottom line there. One of our most strong policies, in my opinion, we partnered with IAMS on this policy, and I'm so glad that we did, because between the great two minds, between American Life and IAMS, they were able to come up with something that's very strong and very unique, in my opinion. Our MYGA contract is the American Fusion. It's a 5-year term, offers a guaranteed rate of 5%. So the worst thing that can happen over the 5 years of this policy, assuming the client holds it to the end of the term, right, is that they earn 5% a year because it's 5% guaranteed. But we have upside built into it as well, where if at the end of the term, the S&P has performed, they can earn up to an average of 6.83% annual yield instead of the 5%. They have to have not taken any free withdrawals. They can take RMDs, but that's something that is very, very strong today as we look. Rates are constantly changing. What does a 5% guarantee with a little bit of upside look like for clients right now? So that's very unique. I don't know if I've seen a MIGA with as high of a 5% guarantee out there. There might be one, but again, I don't think I've seen one. Again, our newest product is our Max Growth Series 10-year contract. We have two different versions, the base and of course a bonus with a 10% bonus. This policy was built with putting maximum amount into our option budget as we can get to allow for the biggest index participation we can get out there, right? So with the base policy having a 5% fixed rate right now that allows for an 11.5% S&P cap. It's a very, very strong cap. Same thing with a performance triggered account. That's 8% performance triggered. And then of course we have our S&P Market Agility 10, which believe it or not is one of the top indexes as far as returns for year to date. If you look at overall returns across all the different volatility control indexes, and I know there's hundreds available, the returns on that for this year at least are looking very, very strong. So I'd encourage people to go out and find that information as you look at the different options out there. One thing I always want to make sure I point out on this policy specifically, this is built for accumulation. It's what it's made for, right? So with that in mind, we're very limited on liquidity, right? We only allow for 5% free withdrawals or RMDs, of course, after year one. But in addition to that, you always want to make sure that the client is aware of the recovery amount. So you may have seen this in other contracts. This is one of the few policies out there that actually has it, and that's an interest rate recovery schedule, right? So we're actually going to pull back a portion of the interest that's credited over time if they surrender early. That allows us that bigger option budget to go out and have those strong index participation rates that we do have. But again, we're very limited on liquidity, so I always want to make sure I point that out. Our flagship, as far as where we see that a lot of our production coming from, is our American Select 10, right? So we have a 10-year and a 7-year on the American Select side, and there's 3 different versions: a base, a bonus, and a bonus plus version of that policy. And of course, I'm sure we're all well aware that the bonus version is near the top of market at 23%. And I always want to make sure I point this out as well. For those older age clients, if you've got somebody 75 to 85, the bonus only drops by 3%. And that's on the bonus and the bonus plus version. So it goes from 17 to 14 on the bonus, and 23 down to only just 3% reduction to 20% bonus on the bonus plus version, right? So an 85-year-old can still get a 20% bonus these days that is fully vested or will fully vest as a death benefit as well. So something that if you haven't looked at that, it's definitely worth taking a look at. On top of that, we've got competitive rates all around on that policy. One thing I always try and point out is we have, of course, the 10% cap on the base version, and then 6% on the bonus and bonus plus versions, and then 50% S&P par, 40% on the bonus and bonus plus. We do have a fee on the bonus plus version as well. Always make sure to point out it's 80 basis points, okay? Runs for the life of the contract for 10 years. And it not only gets us to a little higher bonus, but it also gets us a little more liquidity. On the regular bonus version, we have 5% free withdrawals. On the bonus plus, we do have 10% free withdrawals. I always want to make sure I point that out. And again, both the 7 and 10-year version of this policy will ride up all the way through age 85. So definitely good opportunity for you guys out there. I'm going to get into something a little more exciting here in a few minutes, in something that we've recently added to this policy that we're all very excited about, in some new strategies. But before I do that, I want to touch base on something that's very important to us here at American Life, and that is renewal rate integrity. We are still, since 2019, issuing our first indexed annuity back then, to date, yet to lower one single cap participation rate or fixed rate on any policy we've issued in that 6-year time frame. Okay, so we're very big on renewal rate integrity. That is something that's very important to us from the top down, right? 100% renewal rate integrity indefinitely, of course, is not possible, but you can really tell, where a company's going by where they've been in the past, and so far we've been really, really consistent with that, and it is our intention to be that way moving forward, right? I think that story goes very well with when you look at our competitive rates and caps also, okay? One other thing I wanted to make sure and point out, a quick little update. We had our first new state that we've added in some time recently in New Hampshire, first part of November here. I would be surprised if we have an agent on the call in New Hampshire today, but if we do, I would love to hear from you. We are looking to continue our state expansion process, so look for more updates here on that in the future. Obviously, we would love to continue to fill this map in and add additional states for you guys, and so expect to hear more about that in the months to come. One thing I always want to make sure and point out is we have a very competitive enhanced commission program. Okay, always looking to help the bottom line here. We start with $4 million at 25 basis points, but that it ramps up really quickly from there to $7 million. It jumps to a point. $9 million, it jumps to 1.5 points. And right now, through fourth quarter here, we're running a commission special where we're applying double credits towards the commission enhancement program. Okay, so $1 annuity premium counts towards 2 towards the tier levels. So that's a great promo, especially if you've already done some business with us this year and built towards that. Good opportunity to finish the year out strong there. Of course, I put this coming. I have this coming soon, but they're here. They're here, and I'm excited about it. So I already mentioned new indexes on American Select. We have added an S&P intraday and a NASDAQ intraday. Okay, the S&P intraday, some of you are probably familiar with. You probably used it with other carriers. The NASDAQ intraday is brand new to market. We're the first ones to come out with it. Both of these indexes are structured very similarly. So when I talk about one, you can draw a lot of similar comparisons to the other. The biggest difference between the two, obviously, the S&P intraday is tied specifically to the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ is tied to the NASDAQ. What makes these indexes different? The biggest piece that I see, there's two. One, higher volatility control than what we traditionally have on other volatility control options. So these are vol control options, but they have a 15% target for volatility control, right? Significantly higher than what we see. And I'm going to show you, S&P put some great slides together for us on those comparisons, so why that matters, okay? The other piece is they both have the ability to rebalance into and out of the market basically within the same day. The S&P up to 13 times a day and the NASDAQ up to 3 times a day, right? So they can rebalance, move further or away from the market multiple times within the same day. And what that means is we want to get as close to market correlation as possible, right? So those two ingredients are the keys to success with this strategy. This again is the S&P. I wanted to share this because this is available, by the way, on their website. Anybody can go out and download this. It's very, very straightforward historical look at the S&P intraday, along with the S&P 500 and a S&P standard vol risk control index that's been around actually for quite a while. And as you can see, looking back historically from 2006. We have very close returns to the S&P 500, but believe it or not, the daily risk control actually, in this scenario, at least outperforms a little bit. How does that happen, right? So when we talk about that, volatility control, what that really means is that volatility target we're looking to maintain at 15%, so they can leverage up into or down out of the S&P 500. And when they leverage, they can actually leverage over 100%. I'm going to show you that in a second. So when we look again at volatility as a whole, the big picture, right? What does that really mean? So the yellow line here is, of course, the S&P 500. And over time, you can see there's quite a few times the S&P 500 itself is volatility is higher than 15%. We're targeting 15%. We make that much more consistent. And again, you can see why, if the average volatility is higher than maybe 5% or some of the other ones that we see, we can see why we leverage out of the S&P in those scenarios. So what does that mean specifically to the intraday, right? So the average exposure in the time frame that we've looked at gives us 120%. It means we're leveraged over 100% into the S&P, right? There's a leverage cap that applies at 250%. So you can kind of see, tying as close as we can to the S&P 500, there's definitely a place for these options out there today. Partial Roth conversions. All right, so we're excited about this. This is a big opportunity moving forward, and definitely a way that you guys can get out there and help your clients as they look, to and through their retirement. So we're doing a partial and full conversions at American Life, and I'll walk through how to do that in a few minutes, but I wanted to just take a little bit of time and talk about why we look to do this in the first place. I think we've all heard the old expression, there's only two guarantees in life, right? Death and taxes. Well, we can't really do much about number one, right? But we can look to at least mitigate or handle better number two. One question I seem to get often is, I don't care what news channel you watch, if you turn it on, you're going to see this. What are taxes going to be like in the future, right? What do they look like today? Are they going to be higher? Are they going to be lower? Well, one thing we know for sure is if we look at the general pattern of taxes today, at least federal taxes in the top bracket, are actually lower today than what they are overall historically when you look at the average. But what are the other things that can come into play here? Well, our federal deficit isn't getting smaller. Is that going to impact things? Social Security, of course, there's always going to be questions around that, what we have to do to continue to make that a strong option. And then, of course, another thing to look at when we're looking at this holistically is if we build up this big IRA and then we pass it along to our kids, what does that look like from an inherited IRA? As a standpoint, how big of a tax burden are we passing along to our children? So to address the first question, again, I always like looking at this chart. This is the top federal tax rate over time through 2024. And in 2025, the top rate is 40%. The interesting thing to me about this is that when we look at this, at least pre-1990, we're pretty much, or pre-1988, we're pretty much still in a low time for taxes. What does that tell me? Is that tells me that, I don't know, if I'm retired and I have 25 years to work with, taxes might be higher, they might be lower. There might be times when they're higher and times when they're lower. Would it not be better to have some money in tax-free dollars, some money in pre-tax dollars, so I can pick and choose what I want to pull when I want to pull it? So solutions for rising tax environment. We can take a look at a Roth conversion strategy where we convert traditional IRA assets to a Roth over time. That way we pay taxes in exchange today for tax-free growth and tax-free income later. And of course, there's a minimum 5-year hold after the conversion. And who do we look at for this? Who does this make sense for? Obviously, anybody that's approaching retirement, but of course hasn't taken RMDs, could be a good candidate to take a look at this and see if it makes sense. And of course, we always want to work with a tax professional, or you always want to work with a tax professional to look at and try and convert Roth IRAs when the marginal tax brackets are lower for those clients. And of course, control just enough to stay under pushing that client into a higher tax bracket. And again, the best way to do that is working with a tax professional. So why do a Roth conversion? Tax-free income. You get to keep more of what you work for. You get the flexibility to pull income from pre and post-tax dollars that we talked about based on the overall environment. And of course, you can look to maximize any lifetime income benefits in the future through those Roth distributions. So how do we do this at American Life? Okay, we can do both full and partial Roth conversions. And the big question we always get, so I always try and point it out, is how does American Life handle it when we're doing partial conversions? I've got a client, they want to do a partial over the next 10 years and move a chunk of their IRA money to a Roth, and then get move that to the tax-free side of things, so they have that as an option. At American Life, the way we do it is when we do a partial Roth conversion, we're going to create effectively a baby policy. I don't know any other way to say it better than that, where it's a mirrored policy that's identical to the initial policy, right? And where it's going to match the surrender charges. We're not starting surrender charges over or anything like that for each conversion that you do. So if you do 10 conversions over 10 years, you're going to end up with 10 little baby policies after those 10 years. And then of course you would have the option to, whether it was externally, internally, after the surrender charge period, be able to combine those. But for the conversion period, it's going to create 10 little individual policies in that example I mentioned. So here's our conversion forms, of course, for the full and the partial. Happy to share any of these with anybody and work through any questions that you have specific to the forms. And that is it. That is all I had for you guys today. Wanted to thank you so much for having me on, Isaiah. Appreciate the time today. And if anyone has any questions in this or on anything that I might be able to do to make business with American Life that much better for you guys, please let me know. Reach out to Isaiah or your IAMS marketer directly, and they'd be happy to share my contact information. Happy to jump on a phone call, help out with a case, whatever I can do for you guys. That's what I'm here for. Thanks so much for taking some time with me today.